Hello and welcome to the first video of the playthrough of game Lone Panzer, the game that I have designed and made these past few days. Uh, Before I start explaining stuff as I play the game, I must say that the game is basically a prototype, so some things may be, not finished completely. Like for instance, we may find some grammatical errors on cards or stuff like that during a playthrough. Uh, but I have a definitive rule. Well, they are definitive so far, unless something breaks up as we as we test the game and play it. But yeah, let's just start playing, and I'm gonna explain as we go. So right now I have all my crew members. They are alive. We are starting here on the space where the battle has happened. We have some combat stress. My commander, driver, and radio operator have one stress tokens. If you have this token on the skill, basically your skill is just go from any value to 1. So right now, like if you check my commander here, his loading skill is 2. Well, it's actually 1. I also have this advantage token I can use to attack enemy before they issue attack against me, so that's good. I can prevent some attacks. And I have these 3 rations which I can use to either activate my special ability on the crew members, or I can actually use rations during the recovery phase to remove some of the stress. Alright, so let's start. Basically, game starts by movement phase. During a movement phase, you're gonna move one space forward on this little pursuit track, and you're also going to take your Panzer and place it on the first token, and of course reveal the first token. So let's see what kind of counter awaits us here. Alright, so this is a combat encounter. In this case, we're gonna have 3 tanks attacking us, and usually when tanks attacking you, that's from some kind of an ambush. Alright, so what you need to do when you have a combat event, we're gonna go here to this little battle map where we have our armor tokens around us, keeping us safe from the enemy hits, well, at least until they get broken. Then we're gonna take these 3 enemy units. Now we have these tokens. Well, you can also use cubes of different colors. I just made a few tokens, so it can be, well, like if you can make cheats or something. Alright, so whenever you have to place the units, you should stack them like this. And then as you activate them and place on the battle board, you're going to take one by one and place them on the battle board. Now, I'm just going to say this immediately. If you have a combined type of units, like some tanks and infantry, let's say we have 2 tanks and 2 infantry, then you go tank, infantry, tank, and that's how you stack them, and that's how they're going to be activated. Tank, infantry, and so on and so on. But right now I just have 3 tanks. Alright, so battle commences. Now, before I start the battle, let me explain some stuff on this little mini-map. Enemy is going to spawn on these ABC points. There are cards that gonna... actually, you're going to spawn them, because when you take this enemy target card, it's gonna have some of these letters. So you can basically, it's like you saw the enemy and then you're moving your turret trying to establish where is your best position to attack and so on. Tanks move around the edges of this cube, so they're gonna move. You see these little icons, these actually represents dice. So whenever tanks moves onto the icon with the dice, he is able to attack. And this is how many dice beside the D10, which we always roll, the tank's gonna get to roll. So for instance, if my armor here, frontal armor, is 14, and like if you roll a 1d10 and 1d6, you can already see that if let's say I roll a 10 and a 4 on this dice, it's gonna be 14. Well, it's not gonna penetrate my armor. Actually, you have to get number that's gonna overmatch your armor. It must be higher. So in this case I need 15. So let's say if tank shoots from me from this part, it needs 15 or higher to destroy my armor. On my sides they have 2 dice. So 2d6 plus d10. And on my rear, they have 3 dice plus d10. Also, my armor on the rear and sides is not good as in front. So basically, what you're going to try to do is keep your enemies in front of you as much as it is possible. Of course, it's not always possible, and you'll actually see this. When we get infantry, I'm going to explain how the infantry moves. Infantry also spawns on these letters, but infantry actually moving into these little spots, and whenever they move, they're getting closer to your tank. And infantry is actually much more dangerous to your tank than the I mean, the tank's also dangerous because they can shoot you from afar. But infantry, if it ever managed to move onto your tank, it's game over. They're just gonna climb on top of your tank and, you know, kill everybody inside, or put some mines on you, and you're gonna be dead. All right, so let's spawn some tanks. So the battle starts by you drawing 2 enemy target cards. Okay, let's see these cards, how they look like. As you can see, each card have a letter which gonna tell you where you are going to put the enemy. Now you can decide, since you have 2 cards, so I can either put tank on B or C. Now, since I know I made a game, of course, after these cards, after I decide which cards I'm going to use, we're gonna draw and resolve 1 tank attack cards. Now, tanks usually have a movement and shoot action if they are able. So for instance, if I put a tank on B, and depending, it can move 1 space clockwise, or I mean anti-clockwise or clockwise. So if I put tank on the B, I'm hoping it's gonna go anti-clockwise, so it's gonna shoot me from the front, but it also can go here. Now if I put it on C, you see my problem. He can go on rear or on the side. So right now C is not a good option. Also, you can see here a test for firing and hitting a tank in 16. Well, they're both 16 actually. Well, I have a high chance I'm going to hit that. But also you need to, when you see these cards, you need to watch these lower icons. So whichever of these cards I decide to use, I'm not going to get the lower icon. You actually get this icon below the card, basically when you discard the card and if you pass the test. So this is like your little, let's say, your like bonus. That's why there's a little like you see clover icon. It's like your battle luck, let's call it like that. So in this case I have a choice. Like if I discard this card and keep this, my bonus could be 1 ration, or if I do differently, I can get one of these aim tokens. Now these aim tokens are pretty cool because whenever I use aim token, I can actually take a tank attack card and check what it is. I can see what the tank's going to do. Basically, I'm aiming and I'm looking at him. I can see in advance his movement. So in this case, yeah, I think I'm gonna put this into this card, and I'm gonna use these. Oh wait, but this is a C. All right, change of plans. I don't want my first tank to actually spawn either, you know, to go behind me on the side. I'm actually going to use B. So in this case, the rations could be my bonus if I manage to pass this test. All right. Next thing we do. So this is my stuff I'm trying to do. Then we draw a tank attack card. And this is actually, well, not so good in later parts of the game, but right now really good card for me because it says in enemy sight. So the tank will not move. It's going to spawn on B. And it's not going to move. It's actually going to target me. It says place a target token on your tank. If I already have a target token, I draw a new tank attack card and resolve the penetration effect. So basically they got me in sight. So I'm going to take one of these target tokens. I'm going to place it on my tank. So that's not good, but you know, if I destroy all the tanks before they actually target me again or shoot at me, it's going to be okay. Now another thing with these target I call it enemy aim, but it's actually target tokens. Uh, if enemy actually manage to come into space where it can shoot at me, for each target it has, well, it's always going to have one. It's gonna roll additional d6 dice. So that's the problematic. They're gonna probably overmatch my armor because, you know, they targeting me. They gonna shoot to hit me. But I'm gonna discard this, and now I'm resolving my fire action. So I need 16, and as you can see, there are 3 skills I need to contribute: observation, gunnery, and loading. So if you check my crews, you know that I'm going to use, of course, observation from my commander, gunnery from my action gunner, yeah, and the loading from my action loader. So if we combine all 3 bonuses they give me, actually I'm gonna spawn some cubes. Let me do it quickly, just to mark the skills I'm using. Oops. Alright, so I'm using observation from my commander, gunnery from my gunner, and loading from my loader. Whenever you have like list of skills, you have to use the skills from different crew members. So for instance, I can't like say my commander's gonna, you know, be gunner, loader, and everything. No, he can only observe the target and, you know, lead the other 2 guys to do his job. All of the fire action cards ask for you to use these 3 skills. So alright, so this is my bonus, 444, that's 12. I already held 12, I need 16. So now we roll d10. Basically I just need 4 and more to pass this test. So let's see. Sadly I missed, because this is 15, not 16. It must be equal or higher. So I shoot at the target and I miss the target. So I also don't get this bonus here. Oops, sorry. I also don't get this bonus here, so no rations. Both cards goes to the discard. I missed my chance. Alright. Now, there is one thing I can do, but I will not do it right away. I'm keeping some of my rations. Now, you can always spend a ration to increase this d10 die by 1. I don't want to do it right now because I was hoping to get more rations to, you know, do some stuff with the crew. So I'm just gonna take this miss as it happened. Alright, so nothing with this tank. We continue. I draw 2 cards. Okay. Alright, so here's the deal. This one's gonna spawn the new tank. Oh, and by the way, you don't move these tanks until you spawn all other tanks. So for instance, right now I'm just spawning tanks. They coming and circling me basically around me to destroy me. So here's the deal. I can spawn a new tank on A, in which case he will probably go either forward or in this on my side. But if I do that, my fire option is 18. That's really high. Another problem is if I use this as a discard, if I manage to hit the tank, my bonus is not going to be bonus at all. I'm going to actually take 1 stress. Well, these both cards are really bad. But I think I'm going to take this as my bonus. So the ration, basically bottom of the card, and this will be my space where the tank's going to spawn, and my fire action, I mean the strength of the test. Alright, so now we draw tank attack card. Also we spawn a tank on A, and let's see what this card says. So this tank's gonna actually go anti-clockwise, and then it's going to attack. So basically this tank's gonna go here and it's gonna shoot at me, and it's gonna have additional dice. Now just to explain what happens if for some reason tanks actually moves into position where you already have a tank. So for let's say this tank was here and it's moved clockwise. Well, they pushing other units, and then these other units have an option to shoot at you. So that's something you need to think about when you have multiple units on board. But I actually have a plan how to deal with this tank. So this tank's gonna, as I said, it's gonna move anti-clockwise and shoot on my left side. And if it's penetrate, well, it's not gonna penetrate right now because I have these armor tokens. It's just gonna destroy the armor token. But after that, you actually read the penetration part. And if it bounces, if it doesn't overmatch my armor, I can remove one panic token. But I will actually use my advantage token this time. So I'm gonna shoot before this tank even activates. So it's here, it's not. So before this card is activating, I'm gonna using my advantage token. All right, so let's see. I need 18. Well, I think I'm gonna probably use some rations to affect the D10 die unless I miss again. So I have 12 from my crew members. So let's hope for really big roll. Okay, that's 16. Alright, change of plans. I'm not gonna use my rations to add 2 to destroy the tank. I'm gonna come here into my schematic view with my models, where I have these really good tokens that can be used once per game. So if you check here, if my models are working, like for instance if my truck is not damaged, I can skip one air attack. If my transmission is not damaged, I can gain one eagle token. Radio, I can reveal one encounter token. Engine, I can move one space on the pursuit track. Cupola, I can destroy one infantry tank. And armor rack, I can destroy one enemy tank. So I am thinking to actually use this right away. So whenever this is something you can use once per game. So whenever you use the token, you just flip it on the other side. So I use my armor rack token. I'm actually going to destroy this tank. So it is destroyed. And I'm gonna discard this, and I get the bonus. Whenever you destroy tank by any means, and you had the bonus, I get additional rations. Alright. So let's continue with the battle. We still one tank left that needs to spawn. So let's draw 2 cards and let's see our options here. I really like this fire option C. Basically, I don't even have to roll for this. This is gonna be sure hit. The problem is the tank's gonna spawn here on C, and it's gonna activate before I can, since I don't have any advantage tokens. So I think I'm gonna choose D, and my C is going to be this bonus here. This is a veteran token. Veteran token is these ones with the cross of German cross. So I can use veteran token either to remove panic, like immediately. If one of my crew members is under panic, that's okay. Or I can actually use the token to get one D6 die and roll it together with the D10 die, no matter the bonus I have. So yeah, this is going to be my bonus, the veteran token, and let's see what the tank's going to do. So I'm going to draw another tank, and this tank will spawn on D. But I think I'm really lucky so far. So this tank is actually mobilized. Enemy tank is bogged down in the rough terrain. I guess he was rushing toward me, hoping to get a nice shot from behind, but he actually got immobilized. So it says you may spend one advantage token to destroy one enemy tank of your choice. So right now, if I had that advantage token, I could just destroy a tank, but sadly I just spent one. If you don't have token to spend, resolve your attack normally on target of your choice. Alright. So now I have option. I can shoot this tank or this tank. Well, I'm actually going to shoot this one behind because he's more dangerous for me. So I have 12. I need 16. Well, I now have some rations to use, so it's going to probably be a hit. Now let's see. 4 and a 12, that's actually 16. I don't even need to spend some rations. I'm gonna destroy this tank, and I'm gonna get one veteran token, and this 2 is gonna be discarded. Alright, one tank left, so we'll see how it's gonna activate right now. So I draw 2 cards. Alright, so I have A and C. So basically, when you activate in tanks that are already on the little minimap, they're gonna move over A in this case. So this tank's gonna go here, because it's the only tank right now on the board. Otherwise, you take the one that is the closest one. So for instance, if there was a tank, it was a situation like this, this one's gonna go to A because he's the closest one. But I have tank on B. He can go to A, as you can see, or he can go to C. Well, I probably want A. Yes, I'm gonna keep the C for ration bonus, and gonna put A as my fire option. Although I do wanted to have this advantage token. Okay, let me check my crew special abilities. This crew member says I can, for 2 rations, I can cancel 1 movement or attack from tank a tank card. That's really good, and I have lots of rations, so I think I'm gonna change up. I'm gonna put the C as my fire solution because I'm hoping to get this advantage token. Alright. So let's activate the enemy tank and let's see what will happen. Oh, well, this is bad. So this is the basically side attack. Tank's just gonna go to side. It's actually shown here on your right, and it's gonna attack immediately. Basically, he find a solution for me. Well, in this case, I'm gonna use my special ability. So I'm gonna spend 2 crew rations, and I'm gonna use a special ability of this crew member. Now, when you use a special ability of crew member, you should tap him, or let's not use Magic the Gathering, let's say exhaust him, because you can only do it once per battle. Well, basically once per round. So I can't use this special ability again, but I'm gonna cancel his attack. Now the bonus will not happen because he didn't shoot at me, so we just discard a card. And now I'm gonna attack that tank. Gonna probably be able to destroy it. So I need 16. Well, I'm gonna keep my veteran token for something more important, but I still have like 12 of my skills. Need 4 and more on a die. I got a 4. That's more than enough. This tank is destroyed, and I get the bonus. I get my advantage token. All in all, so far so good. So now you see how all the combinations of crew skills and attacks and stuff you can do function. Now, after the battle phase, which was pretty good for me, I must say, I just destroyed 3 tanks without losing any armor, or any crew members didn't get additional stress. After you finish that, we go to the maintenance phase. If you have any damage, now it's time to fix them. I don't have any damage. Only thing is I don't have this special ability anymore, but it was proven useful. But we will see because there is a long way to the like a finish line. All right, after the maintenance phase, we go to the recovery phase. So now if I want, I can spend some rations to remove the stress. Now I can also unexhaust my crew members. Now, problem with spending rations to remove the stress is whenever you do that, you're gonna roll. Basically, you're resting, so you're gonna roll to see will the Soviet forces advance. So I don't think it's a good. Well, they are like 2 spaces away from me. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend the ration. I'm gonna remove stress from my commander. Alright, so now we immediately, because that's a rest action, we test are the Soviets going to advance. You can actually see here it's 7+. So I roll d10 and we're gonna check are they going to advance also. But I'm gonna do that during the pursuit phase to explain how the Soviet advance at the end of the round anyway. So right now they're advancing because I'm resting because I removed the stress. Alright. I have a 2, they will not advance. Great. Then we go to Soviet advance phase. That's the last thing you need to do. First of all, you count the numbers you have between you and the Soviet forces. That's 2. That's 2. You don't count the number where you're standing right now. So 2 spaces, which means I'm going to do 2 dice rolls, and if I get 7 or more, Soviet's going to advance toward me. So the first dice roll, it got 1, great. Second dice roll, it got 2. They will not advance. Maybe they don't know I'm actually running away from them. So that was the whole round. You just saw how the battle works. I'm gonna end the video here. So far so good. I didn't get any casualties. I actually managed to remove some stress. I get advantage token, veteran token, although I did burn up my rations, so I will not be able to affect my dice rolls that much, but I'm hoping in future I'm gonna get some more stuff. So see you in the next episode. I'm gonna try to do 1 turn per video, or maybe 2 turns depending how it goes. This one was a bit longer one. Also, I forgot to do, whenever you finish the round you remove all tokens, so this aim is removed from me, and if I had any panic, which I didn't, you're gonna remove the panic automatically. Now, as I said, veteran tokens, you can remove panic immediately with the token. Like for instance, if I'm in a battle and I have a crew member that's under panic that I really need, because when your crew member is under panic, you're gonna place, let's say I'm placing here, I'm gonna place token. Well, panicking crew members can't add any of their skills, so that's the problem. They just, they are screaming inside inside the tank, and you can't even use them. So that's really bad, but that's why I'm keeping this veteran token if I need someone immediately. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm probably gonna record the next turn immediately, but I'm gonna put videos, day by day and so on. In any case, if you like the game, please subscribe to my thread, to my, I guess, video channel if you like to watch my playthroughs and what am I doing. And that's it. See you next time. Goodbye.